Well, howdy, howdy, howdy. Nearly Senior Citizen here. Greetings, boys, girls, and all of our non-binary friends, and welcome to a brand new day. Thumbs up, it is good to metabolize. Now, I'm not trying to be a metabolist. If you are alive without metabolizing, then, welcome. Thumbs up. But if you are not of that type and you need to metabolize to be considered alive, then thumbs up for that as well. Again, not trying to be a metabolist. Anyway, though, welcome to the day. A fair amount of things I've got on my topics list to talk about today, part of which is actually my toe is doing much better. But yesterday I did not wear my shoes at all. So this morning I can actually touch my toe and put a little bit of pressure on it, and it's not just immediate agony. So that's a thumbs up. I just wore my support stockings, a pair of socks over that, and then 3 socks over that, and then I kept that up all day. Now I still wanted to go walkies. I still needed to go buy things at the store. I couldn't put my shoes on. So I put another 2 pairs of socks over the top of the socks I was already wearing, put some duct tape onto the bottom of the outermost pair of socks, and then walked from here to Safeway and back. Actually worked out a lot better than I thought it would. It protected my feet. My toe, it barely caused me any issues down there and back. I mean, it did. Any sort of movement or pressure hurt. Oh, it was agony yesterday. But it was a lot better than I thought it was going to be. And in fact, it worked a lot better. I've also discovered that, first, my gait is odd. For a long time, my socks have been sliding on my right foot downward and gathering around my toe. And I've wondered about that because it doesn't do it on my left. Well, it happened with just socks while I was walking to the store. The socks on my left foot stayed up just fine. The socks on my right, because of the way that I walk, I don't know, slowly slide and bunch down at my toe. So I had to keep working to push my foot forward into the socks so that they wouldn't slide off. So weird, but it worked out. And so today my toe is feeling good. So I gotta get a bigger pair of shoes. I just cannot wear my new shoes anymore at all. But yay. So like I say, it worked. My toe is actually doing much, much better. Both of my feet are healing up. I just gotta get different shoes somehow. Yay. Thumbs up for that. But that's a good thing. Because my foot's getting better. Yay. A good thing. Also on my list, I want to talk about a bunch of minor things. One thing, I don't know if anyone watches, on Twitch and YouTube, there's Charlie, whatever the heck his last name is, Moist Critical Penguin Zero. I was watching this one video about modern art. I'm defending a dead man that does not need my defense. But this fellow does not like Jackson Pollock's artwork. And in a way, that's really not fair. I mean, the reasons why I don't agree with, but, not liking something is perfectly valid. You don't even need reasons for it. It's like the fact that I don't like it is valid. You don't need a reason to defend what's just in your head like that. But his reasons that he does give are what I take issue with. Because later in his life, Jackson Pollock was a very good, not realistic, had his own art style, but a very good artist through most of his life. In his later years, he developed Parkinson's. And one of the things with Parkinson's, actually, you don't move. It gets hard to do things. You see Parkinson's sufferers, like in popular culture or as actors, there's the movement. That's the medicine they take so they can move. The problem is there's too much. And so it gets hard. But he took the medicine so he could do things, but that gave him the shake. And so he could not work the way he used to. But he still was creative. He still had the creative impulses. He still wanted to create. So he became abstract out of necessity and worked his shakes from his Parkinson's into his art style. So yeah, by necessity, he became an abstract artist in his later years. So attacking him as an abstract artist without realizing why he became an abstract artist, I don't think is fair. And so I just wanted to say that. That's all. Because also, a thing that I did watch this morning is also something that I have been thinking about as well, just as an abstract thing. You know, there is that sort of thought experiment, you know, that's like the ship of Theseus thing. You know, if you replace parts of it, is it the real thing still anymore? Like if your grandfather gives you a hammer and you slowly replace the parts, is it the same hammer that your grandfather gave you? I had actually been thinking about this for a time, and then watching the video, I find that this is a big philosophical debate that's been going on. Not the big, you know, replace it, is it still, but the various issues and thoughts and intent behind it. Because there's at least one Shinto shrine in Japan that is basically rebuilt every 20 years because they keep replacing the parts, and every 20 years it's basically a new one. Is it still the same shrine that was built, or is it a new shrine each time something is replaced or all the parts are replaced? Is that the same shrine that was made way back when, or is it completely new? My thoughts on that are this, because if your grandfather gives you a hammer, say, and there are 4 parts to it, you know, there's the head, there's the handle, I guess this is called 3 parts, and then there's the rough part to hang on to on the handle so that you can swing it and bang it into things. So it's like, sure, your grandfather gives it to you, and then in time you have to replace the head, and then you replace the handle, and then the rough leather outside it gets replaced too. But is it still your grandfather's hammer that he gave you? Well, you gotta remember too, it may not necessarily have been your grandfather's hammer when he was using it either, because likely if your grandfather was using it, your grandfather was also replacing the parts. So let's say a week before he gave it to you, your grandfather replaced the head that he'd been using for like 10, 15 years. Well, if your grandfather never used it after replacing it before giving it to you, is it really your grandfather's hammer in the first place? Because he didn't use that as a hammer, and it replaced the part that he had been using for decades. So when you get it, is it even his hammer? Because you might be replacing parts that he had replaced and hadn't even used. My view on that has become its intent. It is your grandfather's hammer. It does not matter the parts that have been replaced. It's the intent. He gave you this hammer, even if the parts he had never even used as a hammer before. It is the intent. You replace it, it's still the same hammer, just like the shrine is the same shrine. It's been replaced, but it's still the same shrine. Which is also the human body. You know, our body replaces cells all the time, and all of our atoms and such are being replaced all the time. You know, every 100 days, a large part of your body is new. Every 7 years, your body is effectively new. So, are we the same people on that one? So yeah, they've been debating that for a long time. And thumbs up. It's cool to chew these things over and then discover that people have been chewing on these for a long time, and it's cool. It is cool. Definitely a thumbs up on that. And I just wanted to mention, I'd been thinking about that, came to my own decisions, and then watched this video about the vast philosophical debates about it. So, thumbs up on that. Also, checking out on the side of the list here, let's see if there's anything that I've got a ton of stuff here. Some things I do want to talk about right now, some things I don't want to talk about right now. But, I do want to talk about them. So let me just real quick here. Oh yes, I'm hoping to get this done, but one of the issues is trying to get things done with just the form and structure of things that I do, because I need form and structure versus just not having enough energy. one of the big things that has been a very big disappointment for me with taking the ADHD meds is I expected it, to really pick me up and bring me forth and change me entirely so that I could do things. And the understanding that it maybe being under-medicated, as I feel that I am, is part of the issue, but part of the issue as well, and the bigger part is I have more than just ADHD that I've got to take care of. I have all my chronic weaknesses from my nerve injuries. I have chronic pain from my nerve injuries. I have chronic fatigue. I think I mentioned the fatigue part, but chronic weakness and all these things from the fibromyalgia. Yeah, it cleared. The ADHD meds have given me tools and stuff so that I'm chopping my way with a lot of work and a lot of effort through this bamboo forest. But I sort of hoped that it would clear the pathway entirely so I wouldn't have to chop my way through the forest. I mean, I've never been able to chop my way through the forest before. I used to be stuck outside the bamboo forest and I couldn't move at all. Now I'm working my way through it. Hard work, but doing it, and that's good. I just sort of expected the team of hovercraft to start pushing me forward so that I could, take on the world, and that's not going to happen. My energy, my rechargeable battery, that's the thing I like to use as the analogy. My rechargeable battery still only charges up to 75% on a good day, and the ADHD meds aren't going to change that. So it's kind of disappointing, and that I did a whole bunch of stuff, like I made the extra channel parts, so I've got my creative channel and my gaming channel still that I want to do something with, but I'm not able to ride my team of hovercraft. I'm still chopping my way through the forest, so I'm not able to be as creative as often as I'd like, because with all my various things I can't push creativity. My personality is such that pushed creativity becomes work, and work isn't fun, so I don't like to work. So making it work, I stop doing stuff. So I'm trying to be as creative as possible. I've got all sorts of things that I want to do. Excuse me. I had hoped to do this whole thing on my Cosmic Horror framework until I realized that it was just too big, too much, and I have zero organizational skills because I've had ADHD my whole life, so I've never been able to learn any work and organization skills. So I can't boil it down. So I'm doing what I can, and that's good. I just find that it's a little depressing in that my hopes were I'd be able to ride the fleet of hovercraft, but still being able to chop my way through the forest is good, and I'm doing what I can and trying to be as creative as I can. Because there was a thing on the bone-hurting juice world, which one day I'm going to give it an actual name that I like. But one of the reasons they have to be so careful, and one of the reasons that there's magic, quote unquote, it's just using the strange extra universal energies that have seeped into a universe. There's magic that they have, but they are very, very careful. You can't just you go, oh, I'm going to heal you, and then use a healing spell like in a lot of fictional worlds with magic and such, because at least in these worlds, because it's largely quote-unquote science-based, in reality, if you are injured and you get hurt, your body heals, but it is a lot of different systems putting things together. It isn't just one or two things. Your entire DNA is built up to do a cascading system of things to get you to heal. It's not one thing. You don't just heal. It is a cascade of different systems acting together. Using magic to try and get involved with that in a human body or any sort of living thing, that only would engage one or two systems maybe. They wouldn't understand the entire thing. They're still, quasi-medieval in a we're learning stuff fast stage. They don't understand genetics or DNA or how all these things work. They just know that in the past, when they've tried to use healing magic on people, sometimes for one person it works, and sometimes they die within a year because all of the tumors growing within them crushes out all the good life, and they're just a pulsating mass of tumors that turns on one part of the healing system, but it doesn't turn on the whole cascade. Cancerous stuff. You got to be so careful. And so, yeah, there's healing magic and healing potions, but it's to change the attributes of non-living things that are going to affect the body. Like if aspirin already affects you, magic to affect how aspirin works, not trying to affect how you work. So it's a system, and they have to be careful. And I've opened up 24 hours worth of comments in my community tab, and I'm going to go through and thank 20 to 25 people, however many people left comments, and far less than 25. But however many they are, I'm going to thank each and every one of you. I'm not going to read the comment right now. I'm going to read it afterward. Thumbs up each one. I do answer as many as my executive dysfunction will allow. If I mispronounce the username, no disrespect is intended. And even though I count in American Sign Language, it's with my memory. You've seen it here in action, even in this video. We have David Baker, thumbs up. Favel, greatly appreciated, and I sure hope that Richie from Injury Reserve liked my reaction. Then there is Ilktaro, thumbs up. We have Jared V, thumbs up and thank you. Krilton, greatly appreciated. Zoom, Hue. It's an H-U-E, I'm not sure, but thank you. And then we have Jojo Swoon, greatly appreciated. And there is Made in Canada, thumbs up and thank you. Good to see you in the comments. Light Artorius, I'm having trouble focusing a lot this morning. My apologies. There's Ollie B, thumbs up and thank you. Then there's IBNUHAZIQ, IBNUHAILI, thumbs up and thank you. Candido Quezada, I sure hope I'm close, but I bet I'm not. Thank you very much. HEAPASS, Heapass. Thank you very much. There's Usenerd. Good to see you in the comments. Again, thumbs up. Jacob, greatly appreciated. Gerald Wee, thumbs up. Rayan Khan, thumbs up and thank you. And then we have ANCHITSHETHIA, thumbs up and thank you much. Then there's Ice Damon, greatly appreciated. Alexander KB, thumbs up and thank you, each and every one of you. You get me out of my head and into the world and dealing with real people, if only in text. Thumbs up for that. Thank you so very, very much. And of course, if you could check out my various links and wherever the text box is, I've got links to all of my various channels there. And if you could become, let me do this first. There's Twitter, Facebook, and Patreon.com. And now I'll say it, if you could become a Patreon.com patron, like one of these beautiful and awesome people that are helping to keep me alive and fed, that is a very good thing, and most important, paying the rent, so I got a roof over my head. Thank you all so very, very much. And if you'd like to help me out without becoming a patron, I have a PayPal link wherever the text box is. And of course, if you'd like to help me out without sending money at all, there we go. I also have an Amazon wish list link. Now, do not feel obligated. I do not feel entitled. And if you cannot donate, or you simply do not donate, I take all good wishes and I deposit them in the bank of my heart, where I draw interest. So thank you very much. If you could toss me a like, I appreciate all the positive validation I get from my existence. A definite thumbs up, and of course, if you could hit the notification bell on the subscription button, that would be very cool. Definitely a thumbs up. Well, good golly, Miss Molly. Yesterday was a holiday, which I only found out after I pushed through my executive dysfunction, got my phone, and started to make phone calls, and every single one of them were off to government entities, and the government was all shut down yesterday. So hopefully I can make those calls today. Thumbs up for that. And of course, here in the United States, the Covfefe bug is raging out of control because we have half of the government deciding that if you decide to protect yourself, you're going to court because your people need to get sick and die. Yay. Be smart. If you have to go out among people, maintain your social distancing. Wear a mask. Wash your hands often. Try not to touch your face. Hokey smokes. Get vaxxed if you can. Get a booster when it becomes available. Be smart. Please be smart. You take care. Have a great day today. I will see you on the flip side. And that is, well, quite frankly, a very good thing.